Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Samantha Winona. This is Winona Reads. I'm going to talk about the 14 books I read in March. 14. Wasn't expecting that. A lot of them were audiobooks, but that's okay. Let's get started. I just want to say, as always, there is going to be background noise. My kids are playing in the other room, so excuse any of the stuff that filters through. I do my best, but it is what it is. So, without further ado, these are, I think, going to be sort of backwards. I'm going to start with what I just finished last week. It's April 4th. So I'm going to talk about what I recently finished and then work my way back to the beginning of March. I also have my notes over here, so that's why I'm going to be looking off to the side, just in case you're wondering. You're probably not. That's okay. The most recent ones that I finished were Orange Volumes 1 and 2. They are graphic novels that I read on my new Kindle. I made some purchases this month. One of them was a new Kindle, which I am so grateful for. But they are both graphic novels in a series by Ichigo Chikano, and they are about a girl named, I want to say it's Naho. That's how I heard it in my head. So the first two installments that I finished were the sort of introduction to the series. Naho receives a letter. She's in grade school, and there's a group of friends. There's a new student that comes in. She starts falling for him, but her personality, she is very shy. Excuse my phone, sorry. She is very shy, so she doesn't express her feelings. She's a people pleaser, and just not very forward with who she is herself. So she receives a letter stating that it is her from the future. Her new friend doesn't make it. He passes away between then and the future. I think it's like a 10-year gap. So the purpose of the letter is to see if it changes the trajectory of things. And of course I left off on a big cliffhanger, so I need to get the third volume ASAP. I left off with one of her other friends in the group stating that they also got a letter from their future self. So I love the graphics. I'm kind of bummed that I have it on my Kindle just because it is black and white, and I feel like it would add so much more to the story to see the color and details. But I looked through my library and it was too far away to even like reserve. It was just too much, so I figured why not, since I got the new Kindle, and I so far love it and I will definitely continue it. I think I rated those 4.5 stars, by the way. The next one I finished was Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. 2 stars. Not for me. It's a no for me. It was, my notes are, it was dark, dry, not like dark in like a mysterious sense, but like a societal dark, and I was expecting more romance. There wasn't very much romance. I feel like this is going in and out of focus. I was expecting, you know, romance, a little bit of a like give and take in the story, and I just felt like it was so lacking, so dry, and like forced, and I couldn't force myself to, like, it took everything in me to even listen to the audiobook just to finish it, and that's how I did finish it. I think I have it here, and I have one tab, that is it. So not a big fan, but it is about Catherine and Heathcliff, who are destined to be together, but because of all of these other issues, there's just a dynamic struggle. I feel like it wasn't even about the romance, it was just about the society and the times, which is fine, but it wasn't enveloping. It was like lyrical, but like to a default. Like, it wasn't entertaining. So yeah, definitely not a fan of that, but I am proud that I pushed through. The one after that I finished was My Killer Romance, or no, sorry, My Chemical Romance. My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. I gave it 3 stars, 3.5. It was about a a teacher named Taylor and her brother go on a vacation to Cape Cod. And when they get to the rental beach home, they find that the owner or the renter is dead. Someone killed him. And there's going to be many interruptions in this, so I apologize if I'm constantly cutting in and out and getting up and down. Anyway, it is a rom-com. Taylor and her brother go on vacation, like I said. Then she develops a relationship with the bounty hunter slash investigator, Miles, and I mean, it does what it's supposed to do. It wasn't my favorite Tessa Bailey, that's for sure. Some parts were steamy. It just wasn't my favorite. I don't know. It wasn't my favorite of hers. I didn't hate it. It still has that grumpy guy, happy girl, doesn't expect a future, but then the girl changes his mind, that kind of thing. It was good. It was just, some of it was unbelievable, which normally they are. And I don't know, for some reason it was weird for me to read about Cape Cod and like that kind of aspect, just because we travel there a lot, and I don't know, it just didn't seem believable to me. And I don't know if it's because it's such a normal vacation spot for us or not, but overall it was good. I would recommend it for like a beach read, or, you know, something in between heavier books. Like, it was entertaining, it just wasn't great, I guess. The one after that was The Ingenue by Rachel Kapelke Dale. Kapelke. I think that's how I'm gonna go with that. Rachel Kapelke. I'm not sure. Something that reminded me of My Dark Vanessa as far as like storytelling, it does resemble it a little bit in the sense of the tropes. Saskia is expecting to get the house from her mother's will. She isn't left the house, her father isn't left the house, one of her mother's colleagues is left the house. So it does cause a little bit of confusion and sort of anger in the characters. They look for, you know, the purpose, obviously, and then it kind of cuts to her upbringing, her childhood, the situations that happen between one of the photographers. It turns into sort of this coming of age, but also experiencing the traumas that she experienced as far as being taken advantage of as a child, and the inappropriate behaviors of her relationship with said photographer. There are other women involved. Some of them act like it was a relationship even regardless of their age. Some also agree with Saskia that it was inappropriate. So there's just a huge dynamic of that. And then it sort of has a weird ending of she wants him to admit that he was wrong, and he's locked in the attic, and like, I don't know, it was entertaining. I finished it very quickly. I did get it on audiobook. I did follow along with it. I don't think I would recommend it necessarily. It wasn't bad. I just don't really know how I feel about it. I feel like something was missing. I also don't really remember the ending properly. It did not stick with me, so I still have some confusion left after reading it. So just overall, it was alright. So I rated that 3 stars. The one after that, you guys, prepare yourself. If this is not on your TBR, if you have not read it, you need to. All My Rage by Sabatier. I tagged so many parts. This literally brought tears to my eyes, especially at the end. I think it was like a Saturday night that I finished it, or a Friday night, and I was literally crying at like the last 50 pages. My husband's like, what is going on? This was another dual timeline. Sorry, I'm just taking my stickies out. Another dual timeline, and Sal and Noor are friends until a little bit more chemistry coming from Noor. She expresses her feelings, and he has some issues that stem from his childhood that get brought up towards the middle to end. But she expresses her feelings, and because of some of the internal issues, he kind of freaks out a little bit. They stop being friends, they stop talking. Meanwhile, his mother's sick, she's progressing, she's getting worse, and so an incident happens. She brings his mother to the hospital, he meets her there. There's so many twists and turns throughout. You have the other perspective of, I think it's her or Sal's mom and dad growing up, and their relationship, the arranged marriage, and like all this stuff. Like, every aspect was so good. Every dynamic was so good. Every trope was so well done. Everything was so well done. There were so many parts that had so much anger and aggression held. I'm out of focus. There were so many parts that, I mean, just one-liners that were amazing. What else did I write? There's friendship, young love, regrets, societal boundaries, consequences, trigger warnings for grief and abuse/aggression. Noor has a lot of hidden stuff going on, and sorry, it's Noor. It's not Noor. That was a note. She said that her uncle called her Noor, like Boar, and that's not how to say her name. It's Noor. I believe that's right. Yeah, I just think that every classroom should have this book. Every adult should read this book. There's so much to unpack, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. There's a lot as far as parental roles that aren't being met, and adults not stepping up, children having to grow up before they should, discrimination in the classroom. Just, I don't know where I left off. I need like 3 vacations back to back. There's been so much going on this month. I'm just very overwhelmed, and I don't want this to go any further because it is already early April and I have so much to film that I haven't gotten to. Just a little overwhelmed. All My Rage is something that everybody should read. I highly recommend it. I think it should be on every TBR, every school list, every adult list. I think everybody needs to read it. It's one of those that's just going to stick with me for a very long time, and something honestly that I would read again and see, you know, in a couple of years if those same things that I tabbed, if they still hold up, and I'm sure that they will. The one after that I finished was My Last Innocent Year by Daisy Albert Florin. This was the other book club pick for March. This is about Isabel, who has a non-consensual experience, sexual experience at college. She goes to like a wealthier college. Her mom also has passed away, and she is experiencing grief while going to a college with very wealthy students, unlike herself. And she's sort of coming of age a little bit like late into life, finding out who she is. She has that experience. Her roommate, when she comes in afterwards and she's kind of unsure of herself, unsure of the situation, she doesn't really give him time to think about it. Her roommate just kind of steps up and is like, you were abused, like we need to do this, this, and this. They spray paint his door and do all of this stuff. So he's kind of shunned, and she's brought in, questioned, and then that kind of gets like the background. So I thought, as far as like an opening way, like I thought that would be more of the focal point of the story, and it wasn't. It then turned into her having a relationship with one of her teachers, that turning into something else. There are other teachers in the same dynamic that their relationships are failing. There's a couple of different like not perspectives, but like a couple of different characters that come into play. I'm never gonna finish this. Downstairs. I think it touched on a lot of different ideas, and for the most part it was well done. I just think I was left a little bit confused as to how it started and how that didn't play a bigger part in the rest of the story. overall well done. I would recommend that one more so over the ingenue, but still a little bit of confusion throughout. After that, I binged a couple of Mindy Kaling's audiobook series on Audible. There was Kind of Hindu, Big Shot, Searching for Coach Taylor, Once Upon a Time in Silver Lake. I did listen to 2 of her other ones back in February as well. They are mostly 4.5 to 5 stars. I think her vulnerability it comes across so genuine in her writing, and then having her narrate her mini stories, I love it. I could listen to her talk all day. I think she's had like a huge glow up lately. Like, she looks incredible. Her personality is awesome. So I loved listening to all of those, and it was also kind of like a palate cleanser a little bit. I wish this would focus. Like, honestly, I don't understand what it is. After that was the other book club pick, which was a new release, Stone Cold Fox by Rachel Kohler Croft. This was 4 stars for me. B has a dark past, dark childhood. She has a not a great relationship with her mom. A lot of stuff happens growing up. She is going from her mother and herself, honestly, are going from man to man, finding financial stability, the next best thing, the person with more, and that's how she is brought up. And then her mother puts her into basically prostitution, or like a low-key sense of it. They go to this like penthouse that this guy owns, and he has like a bunch of wealthy people come over. They sort of like pick which younger girl they like. Stuff happens. She is a little bit naive being that young. She thinks that it's fine to have the attention, but once they start basically asking for more, she's like, what is going on? And she wants to run away. And then her mom like basically chases her, does all this stuff. So anyway, cut to when she's older. She is also looking for wealthy men. She finds one that she is going to marry. His name is Colin. He has a best friend who is in love with him named Gail, and they're like family friends, generational wealth. And so Gail starts digging into her past, starts kind of like teasing and tempting her all the way up until, you know, the engagement stuff, you know, the engagement party, the bridal shower, all of that stuff. And there is another dynamic that she has a sister, B has a sister, that her mother and her left, and she left at such a young age that she doesn't remember her. There's a lot of interwoven issues, family dynamics, relationships. She finds out that her dad is in jail because of her mother. There's just, I don't know, it was very interesting, very entertaining. Some parts were a little bit more intense than I thought they would be, as far as like the whole grown men and younger girls, like that part. Oh, I just cringe, and like, but it was so well written that like that's what the intent was. So yeah, the writing was really well done. I would recommend this 100%. What did I say? I gave it 4 stars. I think it was definitely different. You're definitely not supposed to like B. I mean, you're still given like her background, but I don't think, I don't know, I still think that she's supposed to be seen as a villain, even despite how she's brought up. The way that she treats people is very cold, obviously, and you know, elusive, very deceiving. And so I definitely think you're, you know, not supposed to feel empathetic, even despite her upbringing. But I just thought it was well done. I think a lot of people, like, I've seen a couple reviews where like, oh, I just can't get into it, like I hate her so much, blah blah blah. Like, you're supposed to not like her, you're supposed to not like the way she treats people, but there's also always a backstory and you're given it, and then there's just so much to look forward to and how everything plays out, especially with Gail. So it was entertaining. I recommend it. I think it's a great one to bring to the beach or vacation. I thought it was worth it. The one after that was Love at First Sight by Cara Bastone. That was a audio book on Audible. I gave it 4 stars. I love her writing. It is very rom-com-y, very unbelievable, very predictable. This one was about, what were their names? Robbie and Marigold. They're students that are working on a psych project about love at first sight. So yeah, it was, some parts were a little bit cringy. It's unrelatable, mostly. But again, it's another palate cleanser that, you know, when you're reading something intense or a little bit more dark and you want something different, something faster, it's worth it, I think. I'll always read her stuff. I think she's great at what she does, and I love the narrator. I don't think she's the narrator for it, but whoever narrates those I think is well done. I always listen to them like super fast, and I can like vividly, this is what I love about it, I can vividly picture it as if I'm watching like a Netflix rom-com. Like, listening to it, I'll be like on the treadmill or something, and I legit feel like I'm just having a movie in my head. Like, it's just, that's what the writing is, and it's so good. So yeah, I'll always listen to Cara Bastone stuff. And then after that was Uncaged Wallflower by Janae Ciclia. I think that's how you say it. It was a poetry collection. I gave it 3 stars. It was Kindle Unlimited. Again, I'm starting to fall into a rut with Kindle Unlimited poetry collections. I feel like a lot of it is just surface level, and I feel like so much of it is relatable, yes, but there's nothing in depth. There's no emotion behind it. It's just very cut and dry, to the point, which is fine, but I just feel like I'm reading sentences. I don't feel like I'm reading anything more. So that one was unfortunate because I did like some of the other stuff that I read by her. I don't know if this one was a newer work or a previous work. I didn't look into that. I just saw it on Kindle Unlimited and just ran through it kind of fast. I don't know. I just feel like there's not a lot of like in-depth emotion. It doesn't make me feel anything. Like, some stuff I agree with and I'm like, oh, that'll be worded good. That's it. That's it. It's not like something where I'm like, ooh, that's clever, or you know, something that like sits with me. Like, it's very relatable but forgettable and very cliche, I guess. That's, I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean. I just am having a hard time with like the newer collections, especially as a writer myself. I'm really trying to dig deeper to not mesh with how I've been feeling about reading, and I feel like this is why I'm having such a hard time with my 3rd collection. It was supposed to be released April 1st, and it is April 4th, and I am submitting the draft to be reviewed and have pre-order available soon, hopefully this weekend. But I feel like I'm just struggling overall in the sense of making sure I don't hit that standard of just writing sentences and not having substance behind them. So anyway, it was a tangent that I did not mean to go on, but those were my 14 books for March. I did already upload my April TBR and my jar picks, and what else was in there? My adventure April. It's funny, back in March I was like feeling it, and now I'm just like, do I want to read all this adventure stuff? I will. I'll get there. I just have been on such a good vibe with picking up stuff in the moment and being a real mood reader that I'm nervous to have like a substantial TBR like I planned for myself. So there's that. I do need to, mom brain. What was I gonna say? Oh, I do need to get my discussion questions together to talk about the book club picks and all of that from March. I did post April's book club picks, and I did just get my second book in today. It's a new release, Natural Beauty. I don't remember who it's by, but that is over on my Instagram, so I will leave that down here that you can go check that out. And I did also, I'm gonna leave this down below, I did sign up for, I think it's like bookclubs.com or bookclubs.org. So it has an actual board and platform for the book club. So if enough of you guys would like to join not only the book club but the platform itself, I will be able to start having like actual discussions. We can do it on like Google Chat or Zoom or something like that. There wasn't really enough conversation to do anything for March, so I was kind of like at a standstill of not sure like exactly what to do, and I had like a tentative date to have a discussion, and it just didn't work out that way. So definitely let me know down below if you are interested in doing the book club picks for April. Take a look at my Instagram account for that. Also, let me know what you're reading this month, what's on your TBR, what you just picked up. I did purchase a couple, obviously. I have purchased way too many books at the start of this year. It's a problem. I was trying to read what's on my shelves, and I feel like every month I'm accumulating at least 10 more books every month. So that's unfortunate because that's like 40 books in the last 4 months. And then I did buy a new Kindle because mine was like, I don't know, 8 years old, and it barely held the charge anymore. I basically had to use it while it was plugged in, and it just wasn't working for me. So I did go ahead and purchase the new, or a new Paperwhite. I don't think it's the newest one. So far, I'm obsessed. I love it. And while I do like having physical copies, sometimes I just get in the mood for Kindles. So I have been carrying that everywhere instead, which I love. But yeah, so I have a little bit of work to do, but it's been a very chaotic month. My daughter turned 3. I will post a little bit of footage just of like how the party looked. It turned out so cute. And of course I take like videos or pictures before, just like of the setup and stuff, and then because I'm so busy during the party, I don't get anything during the party, which is like so unfortunate and frustrating sometimes, you know, living in the moment, I guess. And so yeah, we had a birthday party for her. My grandfather is doing or had his first set of treatments for his cancer, so we've been going over every weekend and visiting them a lot to kind of check in and see how he's doing with that. And the kids have really been loving the quality time, which like in return just makes me happy just watching them be there. And we just have, you know, birthdays and spring celebrations at school and like all this stuff, and I'm trying to like spring clean the house and purge all of this stuff, and it just never ends. That and illnesses. We were literally at urgent care last night, my son and I, because he had a fever that would not break. It was like going on 12 hours of 103 fever. No medication was working. Baths weren't working. I was losing my mind. I started getting so like anxious and nervous, and that carried over to this morning. I did not sleep well. So then today was just a spiral. It just keeps going. But tomorrow's my mom's birthday, so I have a couple of things to get done for that, and hopefully I can breathe this weekend. We have a family date night planned on Saturday. We're gonna go see the new Super Mario Brothers because the boys have been asking about that, so I think I might take you guys along on that. And then we are going on a date night. We're going axe throwing with some of our friends, which is going to be super fun. We've never been before. And so I think I'm going to bring you guys on like a day vlog, and then I plan to do quite a bit of reading on Sunday. I was actually thinking about doing like a readathon like maybe like a 12 hours, like 7 to 7, 6 to 6, something like that. We'll see though, we'll see. So that is my plan. Please, like I said, subscribe to my channel. Hopefully you'll join my book club. I'm excited for this month's reads, actually. I'm going to start a new one tonight. I'm in between a couple things, but I'm going to start Pineapple Street is the first one. I'm starting that tonight. I'm excited. It was also part of Book of the Month, so if you want a good deal, I would sign up for that. I think I got it for $9.99, so brand new book, like new on the shelves, new release, $9.99. Thank you for watching my content. Let me know if you've read any of these books, if you've liked them. Let me know what you're reading in April. Let me know how your day is going. Keep reading, as always, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.